7 months after a dramatic arrest that sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs now faces the most serious legal battle of his career. A man long considered one of the most influential figures in music over the last 3 decades is standing trial in New York, charged with a string of grave federal crimes. Once celebrated as a Grammy-winning artist and a master of reinvention, under names including Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, and more recently, Love, Combs' narrative has taken a dramatic turn. With 5 felony counts ranging from racketeering conspiracy to sex trafficking and prostitution, the trial is being closely watched not only for its legal implications, but also for what it reveals about power, celebrity, and abuse in the modern era. Combs, now 55, was arrested in September 2024, 6 months after federal agents conducted high-profile raids on his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. He was charged with 5 felony counts: racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, 2 counts of transportation for the purpose of prostitution. 2 of these charges were added in April, just weeks before the trial began. Prosecutors alleged that between 2008 and 2024, Combs orchestrated a sprawling criminal enterprise that involved not only sexual exploitation, but also kidnapping, arson, bribery, and efforts to obstruct justice. These allegations fall under the powerful RICO statute, typically reserved for organized crime. Legal experts say the decision to pursue charges under RICO indicates the breadth and coordination of Combs' alleged activities. "This isn't about one incident," said former federal prosecutor Maria Serrano. "It's about a system of control and abuse that allegedly operated over years with multiple enablers." At the center of the case are 4 women who will testify against Combs. 3 have chosen to remain anonymous, while one, R&B artist Cassandra "Cassie" Ventura, has publicly stepped forward. Cassie, once Combs' longtime partner, has emerged as the prosecution's star witness. Cassie initially filed a civil lawsuit in November 2023, accusing Combs of a decade of abuse, drug-fueled coercion, and sexual violence. Although the lawsuit was settled just a day later with no admission of guilt, it set off a chain of events that included leaked surveillance footage showing Combs allegedly assaulting her in a hotel hallway. Combs later issued a public apology for the footage, calling his actions inexcusable. Yet his attorneys insist the video is being misconstrued, calling it a momentary lapse in a complicated consensual relationship. Legal analysts note that Cassie's testimony, along with her long relationship with Combs, makes her a particularly compelling witness. "She's not just an accuser. She was part of his inner circle for years," said criminal defense attorney Carla Mendez. That adds weight to her words. The trial commenced in early May 2025, following the judge's denial of a request by Combs' legal team for a 2-month delay. Jury selection began with an intensive screening process, including questions about jurors' views on sex, violence, drugs, and celebrity culture. The final jury was selected from a pool of hundreds. Opening statements offered a stark contrast in narratives. Prosecutor Emily Johnson described Combs as a man with a public persona of charm and success, but a private life steeped in manipulation and abuse. "This is Sean Combs," she told the jury. "You are going to hear about 20 years of the defendant's crimes." In response, defense attorney Tenny Garagos framed the case as one driven by jealousy, infidelity, and money, arguing that while Combs may have had a tumultuous love life and a taste for extravagant sex, his actions did not amount to criminal conduct. Courtroom observers report a tense and emotionally charged atmosphere, with each witness statement triggering murmurs and reactions from the public gallery. The courtroom has been under heavy security, and several days have included visible protests outside the courthouse, both supporting and condemning Combs. Cassie's 4 days of testimony painted a harrowing picture. 8 months pregnant when she took the stand, she described a relationship where sex with male escorts, what she called freak-offs, became routine. She claimed she was often drugged and intoxicated during multi-day sessions that left her needing days to recover. She recounted being emotionally and physically abused, with Combs allegedly recording their encounters and demanding her submission. Her testimony has become a focal point of the trial. Under cross-examination, the defense attempted to portray Cassie as a willing participant who benefited from Combs' wealth and fame. They pointed to her music career, lavish lifestyle, and continued presence in his inner circle. However, Cassie remained composed, reiterating that what appeared to be luxury was, in her words, a golden cage. The prosecution has called a slew of witnesses, each adding another layer to the case. Israel Flores, a hotel security officer, described Combs' demeanor during the 2016 hotel incident as having a devilish stare. Don Richard, a former member of Diddy Kane, testified that Combs was often violent toward Cassie and threatened her life. Carrie Morgan, Cassie's ex-best friend, said Combs once choked her and that she witnessed multiple beatings. Regina Ventura, Cassie's mother, said she felt physically ill when her daughter revealed Combs had threatened to release explicit tapes. A male dancer known as The Punisher described 8 to 12 sexual encounters with Combs and Cassie, noting that while he believed Cassie was compliant, she often appeared distressed. Kid Cudi, the rapper who briefly dated Cassie in 2011, claimed Combs broke into his home and tampered with his belongings during their brief romance. George Kaplan, a former assistant, spoke of routine violence and financial irregularities involving large sums of cash. Capricorn Clark, another former aide, alleged she was forced at gunpoint to accompany Combs to confront Kid Cudi. Mia, a pseudonym, the second alleged victim, gave tearful testimony about sexual assaults she had never disclosed before this trial. Despite the mountain of testimony, Combs has remained steadfast in his denial. His attorneys maintain that his accusers are motivated by money and fame, and argue that consensual, albeit unconventional, relationships are being reinterpreted through a lens of opportunism. Attorney Mark Agnifilo stated that Combs is prepared to fight to the end and looks forward to clearing his name. Another defense strategy has been to highlight alleged racial bias, with claims that Combs is being unfairly targeted as a powerful black man. The defense has also questioned the timing of many allegations, emphasizing that several accusers only came forward after Cassie's lawsuit garnered headlines. "It's a domino effect," said Agnifilo. "One story leads to another, but the motives must be scrutinized." Parallel to the criminal proceedings, Combs is facing a barrage of civil lawsuits. Dozens of plaintiffs, both men and women, have come forward with claims of sexual abuse, some dating back decades. One suit, since withdrawn, even implicated rapper Jay-Z. Another civil suit claims Combs raped a woman in retaliation for suggesting he had a role in the death of rapper Tupac Shakur. Combs has filed a countersuit for defamation in that case. Legal experts say the volume of civil suits indicates a growing willingness to speak out against powerful figures in entertainment. "We're seeing the Harvey Weinstein effect," said civil rights attorney Delia Frost. "Once the veil is lifted, others find their voice." The fallout from the allegations has rippled across the entertainment world. Several brands have cut ties with Combs, including Ciroc Vodka and Revolt, the media company he founded. Music collaborators have distanced themselves, and Combs' inclusion in future award ceremonies and festivals appears unlikely. The case has also ignited debates around the #MeToo movement in hip-hop, a genre that has often avoided reckoning with systemic abuse. Activists argue that the Combs trial could mark a turning point. "We've waited too long to hold our icons accountable," said musician and advocate Janelle Hardy. "This trial is not just about Diddy. It's about the culture that allowed him to thrive for decades." If convicted, Combs faces life in prison for the most severe charges, including racketeering and sex trafficking by force. The prostitution-related charges each carry up to 10 years. Prosecutors have emphasized that while sentencing ultimately lies with the judge, the penalties are among the harshest in the federal system. As the trial continues, the music industry, fans, and legal observers alike are watching closely. Once hailed as a visionary entrepreneur who turned a Harlem upbringing into a hip-hop empire, Sean Diddy Combs now faces the ultimate test, not of talent, but of truth, accountability, and justice.